Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 70 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is, of course, going to have many different twists and turns that's going to make us view and perceive the past 8 Star Wars movies in a different light, which honestly, I will admit, could either way, be a bad or a good thing, depending on, how J.J. Abrams is going to execute everything on the big screen and how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to organize all of it into one big massive movie. Now, on top of all of this, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm during the reshoots of this movie, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it's described that one of the scenes that Disney and Lucasfilm are currently working on is said to be a reunion between Luke, Han Solo, Leia, and even Lando Calrissian, where they would use de-aging technology for all 4 legacy characters, however would still be older in comparison to how they appeared in the originals. It's explained that the task is to complete a scene that is said to be a very difficult one by use of next-generation technology, and that it would serve as a flashback that is told by a story when Rey and her crew meet with Lando Calrissian on Pasaana. It's explained that Harrison Ford shot partial scenes for Disney to use if they are able to put the scene together successfully, and that John Williams even recorded a special track for the scene if Disney uses the sequence in the final version of the movie. It's described that Mark Hamill had no beard in the sequence and that they also used some of his partial scenes shot back in September of 2018, and that it is said to show fans how there was a peaceful time before the events of course, The Force Awakens and before the First Order in between Episodes 6 and 7, and to provide visual narrative of all 4 legacy characters in the same room for one brief sequence that is both said to be very difficult and challenging to accomplish to make it look seamless. Billy D. Williams also shot some scenes for the sequence that Disney is currently working very hard on to put together in a realistic way. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, the thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie is going to be very heavy on the legacy characters, which honestly is a good thing in my opinion. I think the fact that Palpatine is back is great. I think the fact that Lando, coming back is good for the Resistance and good for the hero side of the story. And not just that, how Luke is going to be used in flashbacks and Force Ghost form and stuff around those lines, with Leia and Han also being used in different ways as well. So the 4 main legacy characters, apart from Palpatine, that are associated with the heroes, right, are of course going to really be a big part of this story. Now, Disney and Lucasfilm, a part of the reshoots as we speak, they're planning to put together a flashback scene that's told by Lando Calrissian, where he's telling Rey a story about, of course, his times with Luke, Han, and Leia, and of course, this is actually said to be a moment in which it's said to be a reunion between the 4 different characters that they are trying to piece together one by one, shot by shot, seamlessly, and it's said to be a very difficult task by Disney and Lucasfilm to do. Now, in case you guys did not know, reshoots are still happening as we speak, which is a little bit worrisome because, at least for Rogue One, it ended in early September, where they added in all the Darth Vader scenes, especially the very ending sequence where they added in Darth Vader slaughtering the rebels. Yes, reshoots sometimes can very well be a great thing, but at this point in time, here we are nearing mid-October, right? And we're still going through reshoots. So that's the only thing that really is kind of concerning about this movie so far. The fact that they are trying to adjust and change certain aspects of the film, how certain scenes got approved at last minute and J.J. Abrams wanted to add them in, and or change or alter certain scenes as well. You can really see how they're trying to make this movie perfect because of what happened with The Last Jedi backlash and everything that came, of course, after it, and how it affected the solo Star Wars story, box office results, etc., etc. So, this particular scenario is actually said to involve Luke, Han, Lando, and Leia actually having a reunion scene, and it also makes sense as to why we heard a couple of months ago that Harrison Ford shot a scene, of course, in front of a green screen, talking to, of course, some of the legacy characters. What legacy characters at the time, we didn't know, and now it's starting to make a lot more sense that they're using some of that footage in order to piece things together in the form of a flashback that's going to be told through Lando Calrissian when he meets up with Rey, Poe, and Finn, as well as Chewbacca. Now, I think that the Lando Calrissian side of the story is going to be a very interesting part for Episode 9 because this is once again another legacy character that is going to be a big part of this movie. Lando is actually said to be the new Han, if you will, of Episode 9, kind of screen time-wise, of how Han was treated in The Force Awakens, so that's another thing to look forward to. Lando is not just going to be a mere cameo in this movie. He's going to go on a big adventure with Chewbacca, and of course, you know, Rey, Poe, and Finn, etc. So with that being said, guys, I would really love to hear what each and every one of you have to say about this below in the comments, everything related to Luke, Han, Leia, and Lando. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.